Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about planning my TBR for pretty much the rest of 2021, but it could go over to 2022 as well because I have a lot of books that I want to read so freaking badly. And today is October 6th, so today's a Wednesday. So we're in spooky month right now, so you best believe I'm in the mood for like horror and thriller books. It's gonna be a great time. However, I'm not gonna be the only one planning my TBR for the rest of 2021. Actually, I'm gonna get some help from my friends at school as well. I'm gonna be asking some of my friends to help pick out books for me to read for the rest of 2021. So far, I've gotten some pretty good recommendations I'm really excited for. But let's start off with the books that I personally want to read that I chose for myself. So a couple weeks ago, I didn't film this or anything because I was with my friends at the time and I was just picking up books from left to right because I was such in the mood for a thriller, I was such in the mood for horror that I was just like, book. I'm going to be showing you the books that I chose for myself from my school's libraries. And be warned, it's quite a bit, so I am very ambitious. I'm going to be very ambitious with my TBR for these couple of months. A lot of these are horror and thriller books because obviously it's spooky month, and thriller because thriller is my all-time favorite genre, and now to the end of 2021 just seems like a perfect time to just read a bunch of thriller. So yeah, here are the books that I chose for myself. The king, literally, of horror stories, The Outsider by Stephen King himself. I've only read one Stephen King book in my life, The Shining, and we had to read it for school, and unfortunately I could not be in the mindset to really enjoy the book, probably because we had to read it so fast and we had to analyze it, we had to analyze it thoroughly, which I mean, I guess you have to do as a reader, but not one of my favorite things to do while reading a horror book. And I guess I found out that I'm not particularly a fan of psychological horror. However, it's just one book. I'm not too sure what this book is about. I know it's about a murder of an 11-year-old, and the evidence leads to this really popular guy in town, but he has an alibi, and both the evidence and the alibi are true. So someone's lying here, but who? The evidence or the person? So it's really, really interesting. Again, it's a thriller and it's horror, and I'm not sure what the horror part is, but can't wait to find out, honestly. I'm excited to start. I mean, I don't know who the hell this is, but I'm excited to see if this person on the cover, or whatever the heck this thing is related to the book. I hope it is, because it's on the freaking cover. So yeah, and I'm excited to get into another Stephen King book because, again, I didn't enjoy the first book I read of his, so hopefully I can get into this one, and I'll probably give The Shining another chance if I can if I grab it sometime soon. Probably not now because I have way too many books to get through, or at least I want to read a ton of books. Sorry, there was a B. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into this. Stephen King, please don't disappoint me. Alrighty, so I just pulled out more books from my backpack. I have way too many, and I'm about to ask like a lot of my friends to choose books for me. What have I gotten myself into? I guess I just love books too much. Anyways, so the next couple of books I'm going to be showing you is The Good Son by Zhang. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. I'm not sure what this is about either. Again, I just grabbed it. But I know for a fact it's horror, it's thriller, because the synopsis says, early one morning, 25-year-old Eugene wakes up to a strange metallic smell. He soon discovers his mother's murdered body lying in a pool of blood at the bottom of the stairs of their stylish Seoul duplex. Having suffered from seizures for most of his life, Eugene often has trouble with his memory. All he can remember of the night before is his mother calling his name. But was she calling for help or begging for her life? Thus begins Eugen's frantic 3-day search to uncover what happened that night and to finally learn the truth about himself and his family. Shocking and addictive, The Good Son explores the mysteries of mind and memory and the twisted relationship between a mother and son with incredible urgency. I honestly think this might be like a 5-star for me because it just seems like it's really short and it seems like a one-sitter for me, you know? Like I can read this super fast in one sitting, and usually when I can read books in one sitting, it is a very good sign that it's going to be a 5-star. And just the synopsis, yes, everything I want, a murder mystery, beautiful, gorgeous, yes. I'm so excited to read this now that I've read the synopsis finally. Oh my god, yes. This is going to be a great reading month. Alrighty, the next book is Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake. So, I've heard a lot about this book, yet I still know nothing about it. I just know that a lot of people recommend it, and I found this at my school's library, which I was super excited for, because it's on my Goodreads TBR. It's been on there for like a really long time, so I'm very excited to get into it, and obviously it looks like a ghost story, and something I love in horror books are ghost stories. I'm such a fan of ghost stories. They're my favorite types of trope for horror. So this might be a 5-star for me as well. At least 4 stars, just because it's ghost, it's horror, it's thriller, just everything. Yes, I am so excited to finally read this book. If you guys don't know what it's about, quite honestly, I don't know either, so I'm going to read the synopsis. Cass Lowood has inherited an unusual vocation. He kills the dead. If that doesn't grab you immediately, I don't know what will. So did his father before him, until his gruesome murder by a ghost he sought to kill. Revenge, I guess. Now armed with his father's mysterious and deadly weapon, Cass travels the country with his kitchen witch mother and their spirit-sniffing cat. I love this synopsis so much. Together they follow legends and local lore, trying to keep up with the murderous dead, keeping pesky things like the future and friends at bay. When they arrive in a new town in search of a ghost the locals called Anna Dressed in Blood, Cass doesn't expect anything outside the ordinary. Track, hunt, kill. What he finds instead is a girl entangled in curses and rage, a ghost like he's never faced before. She still wears the dress she wore on the day of her brutal murder in 1958, once white, but now stained red and dripping blood. Since her death, Anna has killed any and every person who has dared to step into the deserted Victorian she used to call home. And she, for whatever reason, spares his life. How have I not read these 2 synopses before making this video? Now I'm so excited to read these. Oh my god. Dang, I picked some pretty good reads. Not to toot my own horn or anything. Alrighty, next book is called Bury Your Dead by Louise Penny. I'm too excited, wow. Okay, anyways, I'm not too sure about this again. Ooh, okay. So, it looks like kind of a historical mystery where this is taking place in Canada, and the detective there, his name is Armand Gamache, and he finds that he finds a murder, and the murder seemingly has a history, not only in the present, but in the past 400 years ago. So connecting things from the past to the present, I love stories like that. It's just so fun to read how history how history can reflect into the present and potentially into the future. Just every part of that just sounds so interesting. I'm super excited to read this. And just the title, guys, the title. Like, if you can't get thriller or horror vibes from this, I don't know how else you can. And I just love titles like this. This next book is called Ghost Fleet by P.W. Singer and August Cole. And what I know about this is it takes place in World War III. So it's a fantasy book in a way. And it's saying World War III is going to take place mostly in the ocean where ships happen, in outer space, fun, but also deadly. Why am I so excited about that? And cyberspace. So it looks like there's going to be 3 settings. And the point is, it's going to talk about, what I think it's going to talk about is going to go through all 3 settings and talk about, like, what's happening in there, and what's going on, basically, how the war is happening in all 3 places. And, I like this part of the synopsis. Ultimately, victory will depend on who can best blend lessons of the past with the weapons of the future. Yes? Oh my god. That's incredible. Also, the war is happening between the United States, China, and Russia. Who would have thought? Please, real life, do not copy this. But yeah, it just sounds so interesting. It just sounds so fun to read. It definitely sounds like a page-turner thriller. So, again, I am so excited to read this. It just sounds so fun, so interesting. I'm so sorry if you hear sirens in the background. It just sounds so fun to read. I'm so freaking excited. Okay, these next 2 books I'm pretty excited for different reasons. So this one is called The Name of the Star. So, a little backstory on this book. I got this book before my friends and I had this conversation, but my friends and I were talking about Jack the Ripper. I don't know why. I don't know how we got into this topic, but we were there. And I just searched up Jack the Ripper books because I was like, horror season is coming up. Jack the Ripper, serial killers. Now's a good time to read some Jack the Ripper stories, right? And I looked on Goodreads and this came up, and lo and behold, I already got it from the library randomly. So I was like, dang, I'm such a fortune teller, or whatever the heck. I'm insane. Anyways, so yeah, it's a oh my god, I can't talk. Jack the Ripper. I don't know if it's a retelling. I don't think that's what it's called, but like, it's about Jack the Ripper basically. So basically, it's about this girl, Rory, who lives in London, and all of these crazy murders are happening, Jack the Ripper style. And one day Rory sees this guy who she thinks is the suspect, but the thing is, only she's the only one who can see him, and he can see her. So now she's his next victim. How is that going to play out? Who knows? Ever since that conversation, I've been wanting to read a Jack the Ripper book, anything. So I am so excited about this, and it looks like it's a series. So yay, can't wait to start another series. But I don't mind. If it's a Jack the Ripper series, I'm in. I'm all in. And again, the cover is so pretty. I love this color. So this grabbed me right away. So yeah, I'm super excited. Now this final thriller book that I chose for myself is called The Company of Death by Elisa Hansen. I'm going to tell you something. The one horror thing I absolutely despise is zombies. I hate zombies. I hate zombie movies. I hate zombie TV shows. Actually, if you have Netflix, watch Kingdom. Just trust me. It's so good. If you like zombies, if you're cool with it, it's so good. My cousins and I watched it over the summer. It's incredible. I couldn't watch the second season because I was too scared, but I know it's incredible, okay? So just watch it. But anyways, the reasons why I dislike zombies so much is just, to me, they're absolutely terrifying. They're the one thing that could really happen in this world, and they run faster than me, and I don't appreciate that. So yeah. But anyways, I've never read books with zombies before because I've avoided anything with zombies, just because the thought of zombies just freaks me the hell out. But here we are reading a book of a zombie apocalypse, but with vampires as well. I've never really read books with vampires because I've never really been drawn to vampire stories. So this is going to be really interesting, and I'm actually pretty excited to read this. So this book is about a girl named Emily Campbell. And basically she's like one of the last surviving humans from the zombie apocalypse, and she's trying to she's been held hostage, or not held hostage, but she's been caught by vampires, and she was like, I'd rather die than turn into one of you. But the thing is, when she tries to kill herself, she doesn't die. She's like in the middle of life and death. And the Grim Reaper is just having not a great time right now because he's just like, bruh, everyone's alive but dead. What is happening? I cannot do my job. What is going on? So the Grim Reaper looks like he lost all of his powers to just make everyone die because they're all living again somehow. I wonder if there's a movie. That's so interesting. Anyways, so now Emily's just like hanging out with the Grim Reaper, trying to live through this apocalypse of vampires and zombies because there's a cure being found right now. But Death is just not having a good time right now. He's in a life crisis, and he's like, I have company? What the heck? It's wild. It's crazy. It sounds so interesting. I love this. I'm so excited to read this. I really hope I don't get incredibly scared because, again, zombies, but it just sounds so interesting. And it kind of low-key sounds hilarious as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this. Oh my gosh. Alrighty. So those were the thriller books that I chose and horror books that I chose for myself. I did choose one romance book simply because I'm just in a mood for romance again, and I need more fluffy romances in my life. So I randomly chose The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I know Sally Thorne is an incredible author. I still know nothing about this book. I apparently just don't pay attention when I watch booktubers, because a lot of books that I hear a lot, they talk about them a lot because they're everywhere and they're really good. But I just clearly don't know anything. Let's see. But obviously, this just sounds like an enemies to lovers type of story, and I've never really read a enemies to lovers book before. I've only read friends to lovers because that trope is my all-time favorite trope. But enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers just sounds up my alley as well because of the possible banter that can happen before they're just like, oh, I like you, do I like you, I really like you, all that jazz. Just yes. But anyways, I'll just read you the synopsis. Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeman hate each other. Not dislike, not begrudgingly tolerant. Hate. Yes. And they have no problems displaying their feelings through a series of ritualistic, passive-aggressive maneuvers as they sit across from one another, executive assistants to co-CEOs of a publishing company. Okay. Lucy can't understand Joshua's joyless, uptight, meticulous approach to his job. Joshua is clearly baffled by Lucy's overly bright colors, quirkiness, and Pollyanna attitude. Now that they're up for the same promotion, their battle of wills has come to a head, and Lucy refuses to back down when their latest game could cost her her dream job. But the tension between Lucy and Joshua has also reached its boiling point, and Lucy is discovering that maybe she doesn't hate Joshua. And maybe he doesn't hate her either. Or maybe this is just another game. I'm so excited for the banter that could happen in this book. One thing I love about romance books, and the thing that makes me love Friends to Lovers books, is the banter that happens between the two lovers. And if it's enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers, the competitive banter, I'm here for it. Let's go. I am so freaking excited to read this book. Y'all don't even know. Oh my god, I really hope I like this book so I can get more of enemies to lovers books, rivals to lovers books. Hopefully this opens like a new whole world for me. I'm so freaking excited. This is gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a great time, y'all. Alrighty. So those were all the books I chose for myself. No, trust me, I'm not gonna read them I'm not gonna read them all in the month of October. That is just not happening. There's no way in heck. That's just no, because I'm a busy university student. It's just not gonna happen. However, apparently I've decided to add even more books to my TBR by asking my friends to choose my TBR for me as well. So I've given my friends these parameters. They get to choose whatever they want, basically. They get to recommend me a book that they've read, or just choose a book off the shelf if they want to, if I can get if I can film them doing that. They give it to me, I read it, I give my ratings, whatever, all that jazz. And I really want my friends to be involved in this, just because I love my friends and I love books. Put them together, it's just gonna be a great time. And I want something a little more than horror and thriller. The sun is shining so bright behind me, but I do not mind. Look how pretty that is. And hopefully I can get a little more romance as well if they're up to that. And I'm excited to read more genres as well, because so far all I've been reading is horror and romance and thriller. So I'm excited to get into more genres, more types of stories that they're willing to give me. I'm super excited. I was able to record some of my friends choosing books for me. So these next couple of clips are Oatmeal, Eddie, Daniel, Alyssa, and Amari choosing books for me. Thank you guys for choosing these books.
Is this one okay? Can I do this one? I think I should do this.
That one.
Yeah, it reminds me of you.
Gee, thanks.
You are so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Oatmeal. This is Eddie. Go ahead and choose the book that you want to choose for me. Yeah, any book.
This one?
Oh my god, what is that? Oh.
It's a manga, but it's based on history. Actual history.
Ooh, okay. Alright, thank you. Wow. Thanks, Eddie. That's up to you. Cause...
You get as many as you want.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So generous.
Yeah, you can pick unlimited.
Honestly, I'm just trying to find the kite runner.
The Kite Runner? It's a dead bird. Oh my god. Oh my god.
20
Jesus.
Cooking.
Yeah, all over here
John
is
Lennon.
being John Lennon.
What was it like to be John Lennon? Back you go.
You're like, nope.
That's a lizard face. I was even ripped by him.
these are all nonfiction too. Oh, the dodo. Al Gore, the future. I thought you said you were gonna get it.
Actually,
Oh, okay. Alright, Alyssa, go ahead and choose me a book. Any book. Any.
What are you looking for?
That's up to you. Everyone's given me something really different so far.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm such a great camera person. Yay! Yes. Thank you, Alyssa.
You guys have all types of books, right? Oh, camera's still rolling? Oh, okay.
I just started. Oops. Okay, so you saw my 5 friends choosing books for me, so let me show you the books that they got me. Here are the books. There's only 4 here, and it's because the book Amari wanted to give me wasn't in the library, but I'm thinking of actually getting it as an audiobook, but we'll get there in a bit. So, as you could tell, Oatmeal chose Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk, and I've already started reading it. I'm up to page 34 right now, and so far it's very interesting, I'll just say that, but it does seem like a very fun horror book. I am actually quite excited to read this. There's a little note on the back, I'll read it. Writer's Retreat. Abandon your life for 3 months. Just disappear. Leave behind everything that keeps you from creating your masterpiece. Your job and family and home. All those obligations and distractions, put them on hold for 3 months. Live with like-minded people in a setting that supports total immersion in your work. Food and lodging included, free for those who qualify. Gamble a small fraction of your life on the chance to create a new future as a professional poet, novelist, screenwriter. Before it's too late, live the life you dreamed about. Space is very limited. If you look at that, that just sounds incredible, especially for me. I love writing. I would love to just abandon life for 3 months to just have time to write and read. Do whatever. That just sounds so fun. But as the book would show you, not everything, this note doesn't tell the entire truth. And I love that concept. That sounds so fun. I'm really excited to continue this book. And I remember seeing this book everywhere when I was in middle school, and I've always never wanted to read it because of the cover, but I'd like to say I've grown up, I've become a little braver, so I can handle the cover. But yeah, I'm very excited to pick this up, so thank you, Oatmeal, for choosing this book for me. And then my friend Eddie, as you could see, chose this book. It is very thick. It's called Showa, A History of Japan from Shigeru Mizuki. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And Eddie says that this is a manga about the history of Japan before World War II. And it makes sense for him to choose this book for me because he's a history major, so he's really into history. I'm very excited to start reading this book because even though it's thick, it's a manga, so hopefully I can get through it fairly quickly. And also, it just sounds so interesting to like learn more history, you know, especially Japan's history before World War II. So this is going to be a very fun read for me, I feel like. So yeah, I'm very excited. Thank you, Eddie. Next, Daniel. I unfortunately couldn't get video of him choosing the book for me because I stopped filming once he chose a book, so yay. But he chose Tell Me How It Ends, an essay in 40 questions by Valeria Luiselli. Again, I hope I'm saying that correctly. A very short book. It's an essay, and I've never read an essay before, like in book form, so I'm actually really excited to start reading this book. This book is, I'm just going to read some part of the synopsis. It's about a confrontation between the ideals of the American dream and the reality of American racism and fear. And basically this book is going to tell us a little more about human rights, human dignity, and our most fundamental responsibilities to each other. So this sounds really interesting. It is very relevant. So I'm excited to pick this up and read it. Unfortunately, I'll definitely take notes on it, but I would kind of want my own copy of this to like actually annotate. So maybe after I read this, I'll go out and pick up my own copy because it sounds really interesting and I would love to annotate it myself. So yeah, thank you, Daniel, for choosing this book for me. Then my friend Alyssa, who is also a bookworm just like me, as you can tell, she pretty much scoured the entire library looking for the perfect book for me, and in the end she chose this book, Horror Store, and I'll let her explain what this is about. You think you found my book? Ooh, what is it?
I figured. A horror novel.
Ooh, dang.
Okay, so from what I think I know about this book, it's basically set in like an IKEA it's like an IKEA like store. And there's pictures, I think. There's pictures. Oh, yeah, see.
Oh.
So you know how like the IKEA catalogs are they like Swedish or something?
I think so. I've been to an IKEA like once.
Yeah. Me too, actually. So, takes place in one of these stores, and that's basically all I know about it. But it's been on my TBR for a while.
Ooh. I've heard this book being talked about recently. It sounds really interesting. It also sounds really cool. So I'm actually really excited to pick up this book and start reading it. Definitely an October read for sure. It sounds really interesting. Whoa, look at the art. I didn't even notice that. That's incredible. Wow. Okay, there's a rat. I'm quite excited to read this book now. So thank you, Alyssa, for choosing this book for me. And then the book that Amari chose for me, but we couldn't get it at the library, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki and Sharon L. Lutchter. I've been wanting this book for a while as well, and this is the only self-help book that my friends have chosen for me. If you guys don't know what this is about, since it's actually really popular, it's been really popular lately, especially through the pandemic. This book is about Robert's experiences and lessons that he learns from his actual dad and then his best friend's dad about money, finances, investing, all that stuff. And now in this book, he's going to tell us his lessons, his advice, all that jazz. And Amari is someone who's really into finances, he likes learning about money, so it makes sense for him to choose this book for me. So thank you, Amari, for choosing this book. Like I said, we couldn't get it at the library, but the library offered to buy it for me. But I'm thinking of picking up the audiobook for this simply because I can get through nonfiction way better through audiobooks, and I feel like this book would also be perfect as an audiobook. So I'll pick the audiobook up, but if I end up not liking it, I'll try to get the physical copy. So those were the friends that I was able to film choosing books for me. But I've asked other friends to choose books for me, and some of them actually recommended me books they've already read, so I'm really excited to read those. All of these. So we're gonna start with my friend Roxanne. She recommended me I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erica L. Sanchez, and I already started reading it. I'm up to page 86, so chapter 7 in this book, and so far it is really, really good actually. I'm loving it. So it's about the story is through the point of view of Julia. She's a teenager in high school right now, and she just recently lost her older sister to an accident, and her older sister Olga, in her family, Olga is seen as like the perfect daughter, and Julia looks at her as that way as well, and Julia knows she's nothing like Olga in any way. Julia herself is a troublemaker, and Olga's just the perfect obedient daughter, if you will. But so far, Julia finds something that is very unusual, she thinks, for Olga to have. So she's going on this quest to see what secrets her sister has been hiding before her death. So it's really good so far. Roxanne recommended me this book in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. Unfortunately, I don't think I can finish this before Hispanic Heritage Month ends, but I definitely will read it sooner rather than later, especially since I already started it, because it's just really good so far. Sorry, there's a bee flying around. But yeah, it's really good. I like the themes so far that I'm getting from this: feminism, being yourself, not being afraid to be who you are, speaking your mind, all that jazz. Julia is a fantastic character to represent all of those themes, so I'm really excited to continue reading this and finishing this. So thank you, Roxanne, for choosing this book for me. I really appreciate it. Then my friend Jose chose My Bloody Life, The Making of a Latin King by Raimundo Sanchez. I believe this is a memoir. I'm not quite sure. I've also already started reading this. I'm up to page 23, so chapter 5 in this book. And it's like I said, I think it's a memoir, so it's about Raimundo himself, and he talks about his life from his childhood to when he wrote this book, and he mostly focuses on his childhood, what he experienced, and as a Puerto Rican, and he talks about his gang life, him being in the mafia, and basically he, in the introduction, I believe it's called, the preface, he says that he wrote this book to help warn people of the gang life, of the mafia life. Be careful, even if you have like a hard childhood, which he definitely did. Just be careful of putting yourself with the wrong people. And I really appreciate Jose for giving me this book. I've not read any memoirs at all, so this is a new read for me as well. And he did warn me that it is pretty difficult to read, and I do have to agree. Like I said, I'm only like 20 pages in, and yet there's already very heavy topics being talked about. There's rape, there's child abuse, domestic abuse, there's bullying so far. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's there's just more topics. If I can assume there's going to be a lot of deaths, assassinations, especially if he's going to be talking about gang life. But even though I am slightly having a hard time reading this because it can be a bit hard to read, I am actually quite enjoying this book. I'm very interested to read what Raimundo has to say about his life, what he wants to share with other people. So I'm excited to continue this book, although I might take this book quite slowly because, like I said, it is pretty difficult to read for me. But I do want to finish this. So yeah, so thank you, Jose, for picking this book for me. I really appreciate this recommendation. Then my friend Liliana chose the only reread in this TBR for me, and that is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I read this book sophomore year in high school. We had to read this for school, and I did really like this book, although I don't remember too much about it. And Liliana recommended this to me simply because she was about to reread this book. So she was like, here's a book I'm rereading, go read this book. And I was like, dope, I've also already read this book. So I'm pretty excited to get back into this. I haven't started yet, obviously, and I also just learned that it's part of a series. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that sophomore year. I didn't know that before I picked up this book again. So I'm actually really excited to read this again and continue the series because I know this book is really good. So I'm gonna assume that the rest of this series is really good. I have no idea how many books is in this series. Like I said, I pretty much just found out that was part of a series. But yeah, so I'm really excited. If you guys don't know what Things Fall Apart is about, it's basically, I'm going to read part of the synopsis here. It's a simple story of a strong man whose life is dominated by fear and anger. So I'm really excited to read this book again. It's been 4 years. It's been 4 years since I've last read this book, so it's nice to get a reread, especially of a classic reread. So thank you, Liliana, for picking this book up for me. This next book I don't have the physical copy for, but my friend Esmeralda told me that she could give me a physical copy when she goes home, and she recommended me this book, Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel, and the translator is the translators are Thomas and Carol Christensen. And I don't know too much about this book. I've never heard of it before, but like I said, it's been translated. It's been translated from Spanish to English, and I want to learn more. I want to learn Spanish, so I asked her if she has the Spanish copy as well, and she does. She has both copies, so hopefully I can get both copies from her if she's willing to give them to me. So what I can tell from the Goodreads synopsis is that this is about a girl named Tita. She's the youngest daughter in her family, and because she's the youngest, she is forbidden to marry, but she falls in love with this guy named Pedro. But Pedro marries Tita's older sister just to get closer to Tita, and from what I could tell, this book just has a bunch of tragedies, bad luck, and it does talk about fate. It is a romance story as well, from what I could tell, so this sounds like a very interesting read for me. This sounds really fun as well. It also sounds very heartbreaking, so we'll see if I can get in the mood for a bunch of angst, because that seems like the perfect time to read that book. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to read this book as well, especially both Spanish and English versions. So yeah, thank you, Esmeralda, for choosing this book for me. I really appreciate it. Alrighty, we still have more friends. Not only did I ask my friends at here at university, I also asked some of my friends back at home. I have this friend group. We call ourselves Gucci Snow Pants. That's our group chat name. One of my friends came up with it, and we all just rolled with it. So yeah, these are some of my bestest friends in the world, so I'm so happy that they got back to me and chose books for me. The way I did this for them, because they're not here at my university, I gave them my Goodreads TBR so they can just choose a random book off of my Goodreads, and all of these books are actually pretty different from each other. So let's start off with Ashley's pick, which is The Elite by Kiera Cass. If you guys don't know, this is the second book of the Selection series. I just finished the first book, which is The Selection, and it was incredible. Everyone's been telling me that this series is incredible, and I have to agree. I loved the first book. I am so excited to start the second book. But yeah, as far as I could tell, America is still in the competition. Spoiler alert, I guess. And she has to choose between Prince Maxon and her first love, Ashton. It looks like the trope love triangle is in this book, which I'm not particularly a fan of, but I'm very excited to continue this series, so I'm obviously super excited to read this book, and I'm excited that there's another, what seems like a very fluffy romance in this TBR, because I'm still in the mood for some romances, especially fluffy ones, so I'm very, very, very excited to read this book. Thank you, Ashley, for choosing this book for me. Then my friend Yoshi, as she's known throughout the interwebs, she also chose another fluffy romance for me, which I'm really excited to read because this book is also incredibly popular, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. And I've heard so many good things about this book, so I am very, very excited to read this. If you guys don't know, it's basically about the relationship is between the son of the United States president and a British prince. So I've heard it's really cute. I've heard it's super fluffy. So I'm incredibly excited to read this book. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited. Thank you, Yoshi, for choosing this book for me. Then my friend Landon looked through my Goodreads TBR as well, and he chose Matched by Ali Condi. I've already started reading this. I think I'm on chapter 13 right now. I don't know how many pages that I'm in right now, and I have the ebook version. That's why I'm not pulling it up. But from what I can tell, so basically the story is a dystopian love story, basically. There's this world called the Society, and basically the officials of the Society basically makes decisions for everyone, chooses how long everyone lives, makes all the laws, all that jazz. And the main character, Cassia, is just living a good life in the Society. She loves it there, and every single year this event called Matched, or The Match, I believe, commences, and basically that's when the officials of the Society chooses who's going to be together for the rest of their lives. And Cassia gets matched with her best friend, but then she finds out that she is also matched with another guy, and that has never ever happened before in the Society, and she's told to keep it a huge secret because that is a mistake on the officials' part. And you know, in a dystopian world, there can't be mistakes. It can't happen, you know? So I've never read a dystopian story before, so this is actually really fun to read. It's been really fun to read. I'm super excited to keep going. I did not know, however, that it is literally 600 pages long. So it's going to take me a long while to read, but I'm actually reading it fairly quickly. I'm probably only 150 pages in, but that's 1/6 of the way. I'm doing pretty good. Really love this story so far. It's so fun. So yeah, thank you, Landon, for choosing this book for me. Also, I do want to say both Yoshi and Landon have their own YouTube channels. Yoshi pretty much buys dinosaur toys because she's obsessed with dinosaurs, and she reviews them. She does videos with her other friend, with like our other friends as well. I have not made an appearance yet, but we'll see if I do. But yeah, so that's what Yoshi does. And then Landon makes videos about Animal Crossing. He has his own Animal Crossing YouTube channel, and it's so fun to watch. I love his comedy. They're both hilarious. I love it. I love watching their videos, so please check them out. Their YouTube channels will be in the description down below. Then my friend Camille chose The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is book 0 of the Hunger Games series, and I've never read the Hunger Games before. I've heard of it, but I know it was really popular when I was in middle school, but I never read the books because back then I wasn't that much of a reader, unfortunately. But now I am, so I guess I'll read it this time. I don't know if you're supposed to start with this book or book number 1, but whatever. She recommended it to me, so I'll read it. I don't know too much about the Hunger Games series. It looks like it's about, oh god, how do I say this name? Coriolanus Snow. He wants to be a mentor for people competing in the Hunger Games, but he's paired up with, it says here, a female tribute from District 12, the lowest of the low. It looks like there's a caste system in this world. I didn't know that. You could tell how much I know about Hunger Games. But yeah, it looks like Coriolanus, oh my god, what? Doesn't really want to mentor this person, but then throughout the story he starts to feel bad for her. And yeah, that's all that's all the synopsis is giving me. That's all I know about it now. It does sound really interesting, quite honestly. I have wanted to get into the Hunger Games series, but I'm just not, I don't read a ton of YA, so that has never really crossed my mind as of recent, but Camille did put this in my head because she recommended me this book. I'm excited to pick this up and start reading this book, and hopefully I will enjoy this book enough to continue this series. So thank you, Camille, for choosing this book for me. And then my friend Annabeth chose, or at least she recommended me, Salt to the Sea by Ruesche-Sounds. So she told me that this is a very sad book, but the writing is gorgeous, it's beautiful. So I'm really excited to read this book. I don't know too much about this book either. Oh, I see. So it looks like it's going to be written in 4 perspectives for 4 teenagers. And basically they are all refugees, and they're trying to escape Russia through the ship, but unfortunately I don't think it ends very well because it's sad. So yeah, because it says here Ruesche-Sounds lifts the veil on a shockingly little known casualty of World War II. So it sounds sad. I think it's definitely nonfiction, I think. Again, I don't know too much about this book. I'm not sure if it's nonfiction or fiction. It might be fiction. I'm not quite sure, honestly. But I am actually pretty excited to read this book. It sounds really sad, but I do want to know a little more about the history here, because like the synopsis says, this part of World War II is quite unknown, so I'm really excited to learn more. So yeah, thank you to Annabeth for recommending me this book. I really appreciate it. Alrighty, I'm pretty sure I'm not forgetting anyone. The last person I asked to choose a book for me is my boyfriend, James. And I also gave him my Goodreads TBR, and he chose Aragon by Christopher Paolini. He's not that much of a reader, but he's heard that this book is very good. I know nothing about this book, so... Ooh, okay, so it's definitely a fantasy book because it has a dragon in it. Thank you, me, for clearing that up. But it looks like it's talking about Aragon. He's fairly poor. His family is poor, and he just wants to help his family. So when he finds a very pretty blue stone, he's like, ooh, let me sell it. But then the stone turns out to be an egg, and then the egg hatches into a dragon, and he's just like, oh, lovely. I don't think I can sell that. So, it says here that overnight his simple life is shattered, and he is thrust into a perilous new world of destiny, magic, and power. That sounds so fun. I've not yet read any books with dragons in them, so I'm actually really, really excited to read this book. I don't normally gravitate towards fantasy as well, but this just sounds so fun. And when I told my friend Alyssa that my boyfriend chose this book for me, she was also very excited for me to read it. So good pick. So this is a fantastic pick. Thank you, James, for picking this book for me. And those are all the books on my TBR for the rest of 2021. I cannot tell you how many books there are in my TBR right now. I don't even want to imagine. I will say this: all the books that my friends chose for me, they are top priority because I asked them for recommendations, and they took time out of their day to give me recommendations. Some of them even allowed me to film them, choosing a book for me. So thank you, everyone, if you're all watching this. I know some of you are, hopefully. Thank you to all of my friends for picking all of these books for me, and I have some more back at my dorm. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, all these books are super different from each other, so I have a variety of books to read, which I'm very excited for, all for different reasons, some for fun, some for learning. So yeah, I'm very excited for the rest of 2021, at least for the reading period, because there's just so many good books for me to read now. I cannot wait to read all of my books, or at least I'll try. But yeah, October, November, and December are just going to be so fun, especially with all these books. I cannot wait. I'm pretty sure I said that enough already. But thank you guys. I want to say thank you again to my friends for allowing me to film them. And thank you for recommending me all these books. I can't appreciate it enough. But I will definitely ask them again to choose books for me if they're up to it. But yeah, so that's the rest of 2021 for you. That's how my reading period is going to look like. The wrap-ups are going to be insane, but you know what? I cannot wait for all of these stories. I'm so excited. And I hope you guys are excited for the reading vlogs that are going to come out, especially with about the books my friends chose for me. I'm very excited to read all of these. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have a good day, have a good week, have a good reading month, period, whatever. Comment down below what books you guys are planning to read for the month of October or November, or heck, even December if you're planning that far. I can't wait to, like I said 20 million times already, I cannot wait to read all of these books. I'm so freaking excited. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!